Hi guys, it's Sam here with your MCO special version 2. Now with random drawings. Yeah, okay, that's awful. Okay, so today I thought I'd regale you guys in paint nonetheless about, I don't know, how things are going, but mostly, the virus. Still on our minds, right? So today I thought we'd talk a little bit about fun viruses, because it's always fun to learn, isn't it? Especially when you're stuck at home. Yep. So today we're going to talk about weird viruses. Well, not that weird, just this annoying one that's bugging us. So has it ever occurred to you how these supposedly, non-living organisms can cause so much problems in us? Okay. Yes. So in case you didn't know, viruses aren't technically alive. They're not alive because they lack much of the things that we scientists would classify as making something alive. Okay, because they're very small, smaller than bacteria. So bacteria are like this big, and viruses are like this big. Okay, not even. Okay, so that's that's not the scale. Okay, don't take my word for it. But yes, they don't have organelles. They don't have the typical things that you would expect in organisms. Hands, legs, hair. Yeah. So pretty much viruses are little parasitic machines. That's what we call them, machines, right? Because they need to rely very much on the host in order to survive. Right? They can't do it. They can't do very much on their own. Because they're very small, they're very basic, they don't have much. They're basically just like proteins, right? The proteins just floating around. Little strands of DNA. Okay, so in case you didn't know, that DNA thing that you always see, double helix DNA, that's made of protein. Okay, so this is pretty much what viruses are. They're just pretty much strands of DNA, RNA just floating around. Okay, waiting for a host. Yes. Okay. So, what makes it interesting then is that viruses can cause such, widespread and significant damage. Right. So okay, speaking of talking about COVID, so you know what COVID does, right? So COVID causes a loss of this. Okay. Loss of sense of smell and sense of taste. Now, how does it do that? I'm glad you asked. It's because the virus can get into your central nervous system. Yes, in case you didn't know, this is supposed to be the brain. Brain. Okay, it's the brain. So the virus gets into your central nervous system, right? And it goes. Argh. Okay, so what it then does is presumably it blocks certain receptors, or it damages the neurons so that it doesn't send the signals to your brain, right? So from your nose to your brain, doesn't get there. Okay, it doesn't happen. I should try a different color. Okay, so why is this so interesting? It's really not that interesting. Okay, well, considering how simple these viruses are, they cause quite a lot of problems, right? So in case you don't know, there are many symptoms of COVID, but COVID is sucks. So let's not talk about COVID. Let's talk about another virus that you may have heard of, a virus called the rabies virus. Okay, so it's called, the full name is rabies Lissa virus, but in case you haven't heard of it, it's that virus that makes animals go kind of batshit crazy. Starts make them froth at the mouth, and makes them bite. Okay. So it happens in a lot of mammals. dogs, and cats probably, and wild boars, and it also happens in bats. Yes. So bats can transmit rabies. That's right. Yeah, okay. So yeah. So rabies is also not a very nice virus because it kind of kills you at some point. But before it kills you, it does some very interesting things. So yes, so rabies, the rabies virus is quite a unique virus in the sense that it can infect quite a wide range of hosts. So maybe in school you were taught that viruses only infect a certain species, like avian flu, only jumps from birds to humans for some reason. But rabies actually infects a wide range of hosts. Okay. So, and not just that, it also attacks the central nervous system. So like I mentioned just now, the brain. I'm gonna read through brains. Okay, so central nervous system. Remember this thing. Okay. Central nervous system. The rabies virus attacks the central nervous system, and it causes a number of interesting symptoms. I say interesting. It's not particularly fun though. It causes anxiety. It causes confusion. Hallucinations, maybe those are basically it screws with your brain. It makes it a bit funny. Okay? And it even causes this very interesting thing called hydrophobia. So if you're a learner of the Latins, you might be able to guess what that is. Hydro is water, and phobia is fear. So it actually makes you afraid of water. It makes you avoid water, and that's a strange, interesting effect. But I think the most interesting effect of all of the rabies virus is that it makes you want to bite people. Yes, so all these other ones, can be kind of explained by the virus messing with your central nervous system, making you a bit wacky. But how does it make you want to bite people, right? So it alters your behavior, right? Which is interesting because when we think of behavior, we don't think of it as something very simple. It's not like a switch. You don't just go flick it on and off. Okay, it's not an on-off thing. Or maybe it is. Is it? Yeah, we don't know. But for the most part, we think behavior is a fairly complex thing. It's a number of different receptors and hormones that go to cause a behavioral change, which this very simple rabies virus does surprisingly well. Okay, so why is biting people interesting? Really shouldn't be. Right. So okay, the biting thing is interesting because for two reasons. Well, one, because it's not a change in behavior, right? Because why would messing with your brain make you want to bite people? Doesn't make sense. Secondly, a very interesting thing is that the rabies virus is transmitted by saliva. Saliva. True. Okay. Okay. So the virus is in the saliva. Okay. And when the original host, this guy, bites someone, ow, 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 okay, the saliva is transmitted to the new host, okay, and the virus continues its merry way, okay. So isn't that interesting? Right? The fact that the rabies virus, a simple little virus, tiny specks of protein, can cause an organism to help in its transmission, right? Because presumably the biting thing helps to spread the virus, so it continues to live on after this original host has passed. So I mean rabies untreated is kind of a scary virus because you basically go insane and then you kind of die. But thankfully we figured out ways to combat it. so we have vaccines for it. So even after you get bitten, you can get the vaccine and you'll be alright. Your body will fight it off. Okay. So unfortunately, we haven't quite got there with COVID, but you know, I think we will. It's just a matter of time. But you know, the rabies virus is certainly, as mentioned, it's a very interesting one. And if you guys have seen the movie 28 Days Later, it may sound familiar because that the virus in that movie is based on rabies, right? So it changes your behavior, like the movie. It makes you want to go become a zombie. It makes you want to bite people. Okay. So yeah, I think that's my little piece for today. Yes. So yeah, give me some feedback. Let me know what you think, what you don't think, and I will attempt to improve on these silly illustrations. As you know, I'm a guy, so unfortunately, multitasking is not really my forte. But I will try and do this whole drawing and talking at the same time. Oh God, so much effort. Okay, so yeah, that's all from me. Signing out. I hope you guys have a good one, and maybe I'll see you tomorrow. Alright. So, take care, have fun, stay safe, and see you on the flip side. Sam out.